Okay, we are starting chapter 7 today, and we're going to start off with some ratios in this lesson, ratios and proportions. And I know you've seen proportions and ratios all the way back to pre-algebra, so hopefully this won't be too difficult. We're just going to combine that with some of the things that we've learned in geometry. Okay, so let's start off. We have two supplementary angles have a ratio of 3 to 2. They have a ratio of 3 to 2. What are the measures of the two angles? Okay, so we want to basically, if we have two supplementary angles and we know the ratio is 3 to 2, what we're going to do is we are going to say one of the angles is 3x and the other angle is going to be 2x. So it's some multiple where we have to solve for x. Now, supplementary, we know that these two angles have to equal 180. So now that we have our algebraic equation, we're going to just go ahead and solve. So we're going to add those together. We get 5x equals 180. And then we're going to divide by 5, and we're going to get 36. Now, what are the two measures of the angles? So one of the angles is going to be 3 times 36. That's going to give us 108. And the other one's going to be 2 times 36, and that's going to be 72. So we have 108 and 72 are the two angle measures. Now you can go back and you can double check, do these two have a ratio of 3 to 2? So if you put that into your calculator and use the TI Nspire, it'll just simply reduce it for you. So it does have a ratio of 3 to 2. And do these two angles add up to 180? And yes, they do. So that's just a quick way that you can check your answer there. Okay, so again, what we had to do was we introduced this variable x that we can relate the two angle measures. And that's pretty much what all the examples that we're going to do today. So in a triangle, the ratio of the measures of three sides is 4 to 6 to 9, and its perimeter is 190 inches. Find the measures of the three sides. So it's okay that we have three different numbers here. That's fine. We're still going to do something similar where we're going to make the sides 4x, 6x, and 9x. Now, perimeter is 190, so that means we're going to add all these up. So 4x plus 6x plus 9x has to be 190. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve for x. We get this is 19x. That's an easy one, right? Go ahead and divide, and we get x equals 10. So what are the measures of the three sides? Well, one is going to be 4 times 10, so that's going to be 40. And I did give units here. I gave inches. So 40 inches, 60 inches, 90 inches. Okay. All right. The next one, maybe you want to try this one on your own. Pause the video here, see if you can figure it out. Otherwise, we'll just continue here. The ratio of the measures of three angles of a triangle is 2 to 3 to 5. So again, I'm going to introduce my variable x. And that's all the information that was given. We're finding the measure of the angles. Well, what do we know about the sum of any three angles in a triangle? We know that the sum must equal 180. Again, and this is a triangle. So I'm going to take 2x plus 3x plus 5x, make that equal to 180. So there we get 10x. Divide both sides by 10. Again, nice easy one, we get 18. So what are the measures of the angles? Okay, so we'll have 2x, that's going to be 36. 3x, so that's going to be 54. And 5 times 18, that's going to give us 90. So there are the three angle measures. Okay, and the last part of this lesson is really just a review of cross multiplication. Now, since these are all algebraic problems, okay, we're just going to multiply. We're not going to worry about if we get positive or negative. So let's go ahead and see. We have 5 times x, so that's 5x. 3 times 75, so that's going to be 225. And then I'm just going to divide both sides by 5. And we get x equals 45. Let's go over here to b. So 4 times negative 13, so that's going to be negative 52, equals, now I want to take 2 times 3x minus 5. So I just want to make sure that you distribute. So 2 times 3x will give us 6x. 2 times that minus 5 will give us a minus 10. Go ahead and add 10 to both sides. That'll be a negative 42 equals 6x. So x is negative 7. Again, if you want to pause it here and see if you can get the last two on your own. Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply, and it doesn't really matter which ones you do first. Okay, so if I do 2 times 5, I could put 10 on the left or the right side of the equals. It really makes no difference. Now, with this next one, I have to multiply x minus 1 times x minus 2. So I have to use FOIL here. Remember when we have two binomials? So I'm going to multiply x times x. That's going to be x squared. The outside is a plus 2x. Inside is a minus x. And then the last is a minus 2. Now in this case, I end up with a quadratic. So what I want to do is I want to get everything on one side. So I'm going to subtract 10. And I'm going to combine these two. So that's going to be a plus x. And then if I have a minus 2 and a subtract 10, that's going to give us a minus 12. Okay, let's see if this will factor. I'm thinking of two numbers that multiply together to give us negative 12, that combine to give us a positive 1 coefficient in front of the x. So that's going to be a positive 4 and a negative 3. So that means x plus 4 can be equal to 0, or x minus 3 can be equal to 0. So I get negative 4 and 3. Now, if we were having a geometric problem, we would want to make sure that if we substitute those values back in, we'd end up with positive measures. But because it's just an algebraic proportion, we're fine with both answers. Okay? All right, then we have the last one here. Looks like we have to do FOIL on both sides. So here, we'll write it down. X plus 3 times x plus 4. That's got to be equal to 2x plus 5 times x minus 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply that out. We get x squared, and then the outside is 4x, the inside is 3x, so that's going to add up to 7x plus 12, right? 3 times 4. And then here we're going to have 2x squared plus 2x, or sorry, minus 2x plus 5, so that's going to be a plus 3x, and a minus 5. Okay, I'm going to try to get everything on one side. So let's see, I'm going to move everything to the right side. So that's just going to give us an x squared minus 4x, and then that's going to be a minus 17. Now, I can try to factor this, but there are no two numbers that are going to multiply together to give us 17 that will combine to give us that negative 4. So if we think back, you learned something in Algebra 1 called the quadratic formula. It's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in this case, the coefficient of x squared, that's our a. B is going to be -4, and C is -17. So you might want to go back and review this if you forgot that formula. So it's x equals, so it's the opposite of B, so since B is -4, we're going to make that a +4, plus or minus the square root, and then it's going to be B squared, so that's going to be -4 squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is -17. And then all over 2A. So I have 4 plus or minus the square root. Okay, that's going to give us a +16. And then we have 2 negatives, so we're going to have 4 times 17 is 68, all over 2. So I get 4 plus or minus the square root of 84 over 2. And actually 84 is divisible by 4. So I can rewrite this as 4 plus or minus 2 root 21 over 2. And then 2 goes into both of those, so 2 plus the square root of 21. All right, and that's all we have for 7.1. And then you have the worksheet online, and you can come see me at Bonus if you have any questions.